In modern times, I think we have a deep misunderstanding of the difference between power and authority as it pertains to the church.
They went back to Jerusalem, and as he was walking in the temple courts, there came to him the head Kohanim, the Torah teachers, and the elders. And they said to him, "By what simcha do you have that authorizes you to do these things? Who gave you this simcha authorizing you to do them?" And Yeshua said to them, "I will ask you just one question. Answer me, and I will tell you by what simcha I do these things. The immersion of Yochanan, was it from heaven or from a human source? Answer me." They discussed it among themselves. If we say from heaven, he will say, "Then why didn't you believe him?" But if we say from a human source, they were afraid of the people, for they all regarded Yochanan as a genuine prophet. So they answered Yeshua, "We don't know." And then he replied, "I won't tell you by what simcha I do these things."
Now, this word simcha is usually replaced in the Greek with the word exousia, which is basically the divine right. It's the concept of somebody ordaining or laying hands on a person and passing authority that was granted to them by God to the person who is being ordained to go out and perform a task. You could think of it like a sheriff deputizing somebody. So the concept is that the sheriff is authorized by the people to enforce the will of the people in the community. And so that's why he has a badge. It's the symbol that he's been authorized to tell someone you can or cannot do something on behalf of the people. Now, let's say that the sheriff reaches a point where he's unable to enforce the will of the people because there are too many people. And so he goes and he finds additional people and he deputizes them. And so what that means is that he's taking from the authority that was granted him by the people, and then he is authorizing additional agents to go out and say, you can now have the authority, the right to tell people that you can't do this or you can't do that. So if you live in that community and someone that you don't know shows up and they don't have a badge and they say, you can't do this or you can't do that, then your immediate question would be, I need you to produce some credentials. I need you to validate that you have the authority to tell us that we can't do what we're doing. Now, here's where the distinction between power and authority becomes important. If the person is big enough, they may have the power to force you to stop doing what you're doing. But if come to find out they were not authorized to stop you from doing what they were doing, then you can go to the authorities, to the sheriff, and say, this person overpowered us and forced us to stop, and he was not authorized to do that. So now I want you to use the authority and the power of the people to take that person and throw them into jail because they were acting in an unauthorized manner. Now, what we're seeing here is Jesus is running around town exercising power in a way that is contrary to what the Pharisees believe is in alignment with what was handed down to them by God. The Pharisees were the ones who were authorized to oversee Israel. And so you have Jesus over here exercising power, and their question then becomes, we recognize the power as it is similar to our power, but we don't recognize the authorization. We have a badge that we got from Moses, but we don't recognize your badge. Where did you get your authority from to do the things that you're doing around town? This is what we need to understand in the church. When we see someone who has power, right, and that power could be expressed in supernatural gifting, it could be expressed in the ability to speak, it could be expressed in the ability to get people to follow them. Lots of people have power, but what you have to understand is that power can be given to a person by Satan. It can also be given to a person by God. That's why the Pharisees didn't ask Jesus, where did you get this power? They didn't say, okay, did you get this power from Satan or from God? The question they had was on whose authority, who authorized you to use this power that you had. Because they understand that power could come from anywhere. Anyone who has the power to empower somebody can grant power, but only one person can grant authority, because it is from God that all authority flows. That's why it says that spiritual gifts are given to people by the Spirit, which is basically the authorized agent of Christ in the earth. So the Spirit is the one who grants spiritual gifts to people, not men. Why? Because Christ is the one who chooses who he's going to authorize to do things. That's why it also says that Christ is the one that is fitting everyone together in function within the body of Christ. Christ is the one that fits everyone together. And we have a lot of people who are authorized by human agents, and they mistake the authorization of human agents as the same as authorization from God. And so the question comes, how do you validate whether someone is authorized? Well, the answer is